We've had a meeting this morning with Vodafone, Phonology, LTA. We had a meeting with the ministry yesterday, and also, of course, members of the Fiji Bus Operators Association. There is general agreement, well, in fact, everybody agrees that e-ticketing is the way to go. There is, however, some issues pertaining to the implementation of the e-ticketing itself. What is going to happen now is the following. The market will be opened up to allow other solution providers, both in the front end and the back end, into the market. However, they all need to comply with various standards. One of the first and foremost requirements obviously will be interoperability, which essentially means assuming that you have another provider that has a machine, different back end, different front end, and then bus company A. And assuming that you have a Vodafone/Phonology card, you should be able to use that card of yours in another machine, and vice versa. So there is universal application as far as the operations of the machines are concerned. That's just the front end. But there's also issues pertaining to the front end, at the back end, sorry. Which means, for example, when you go and swipe your card or when you rub your card against the machine, there's no cash that is actually exchanged. Now what happens, excuse me, at the end of the day or within 48 hours, the cash is then reconciled, and then the bus company gets the cash in their bank account. That's how they get their bus fare paid. So there needs to be also synchronization with different service providers at the back end. One of the other requirements, of course, is because we want bus companies, and of course bus companies themselves want to be a lot more transparent. So LTA should be able to pick up at any time and see through the particular facility, the e-ticketing provision, how many passengers are on a bus, what has been the passenger load. And indeed, we want FERCA to know that too. So there's no pilfering, there's no cheating the system. Bus operators, of course, are very concerned because, sometimes there's allegations that maybe bus drivers are pocketing money, and of course we don't want people to evade tax. So everybody agrees, and which is a very positive thing, that we need to have e-ticketing. It's also very convenient for people, can give their money to the children, load it on the card, and they can use that card. So 3 months' time has been given from as soon as the regulations that set out the standards are gazetted. We hope to have it gazetted by this Friday, or at the latest next week, Monday. So 3 months from then, the bus operators have the ability to choose the e-ticketing solution provider. What LTA/government's role is to set the standards. It's in the same way the Ministry of Energy, for example, says you can only bring in refrigerators that have X number of fluorocarbons that's emitted in the air. They don't tell you which brand to buy. As long as it meets the standards, there's interoperability, then they can provide that particular service. This, of course, will increase competition. And it should mean that increased competition should not just mean better services, more outlets throughout Fiji. So getting a e-ticketing card should not be a chore or should not be difficult. You should be able to get it from anywhere. And secondly, it does also mean that by having more competition, the bus operators will be able to get a better deal too. At the moment, the Phonology deal, they take about more than 4% as their service fee. So the bus fare that you pay, little more than 4% is paid to the solution provider. So there's competition, and there could also be some sharpening of pencils as far as that fee is concerned. There's, of course, like I said, certain standards need to be maintained. But government has also made it clear that none of the bus companies themselves can be solution providers. Otherwise, there will be conflict of interest. And that is very, very critical. Nor should they partner with anybody, nor should any of the related entities be involved as a solution provider for e-ticketing services, because as you know, that could result in cartelling, etc. Now, we were very appreciative of the fact that Vodafone / Phonology were very forthcoming in the meeting today. So they have agreed, in order to allow bus companies to be able to test the market, that if some of them wanted their machines withdrawn, they could do that in the next 7 days. And maybe at the end of just before 3 months, they may still come back to them. But they want to give them the opportunity to try out other solutions. Similarly, Vodafone has also agreed that if people want to cash up their cards, they can cash up their cards. And also what will happen from tomorrow is that all bus companies, in particular those who already have machines, will also accept cash, just to make it easy for people. Because at the moment, since we don't have universal application and interoperability of cards, all bus companies will have to accept cash, and if they have machines, cards too. Just on that note, there has been an issue. For example, some of the bus companies, when the machines don't work, people come with the cards, they've been getting a free bus ride. Because people say, well, we're not going to give you cash. And that is something obviously that needs to be avoided going forward. And in fact, there was a very long, drawn-out meeting between Phonology and many of the bus operators who were here today. I understand very robust discussions regarding some of the practical problems they're facing. You know, sometimes the machine freezes, the speed at which the machine has an uptake of the amount of money to be extracted. So all those things need to be sharpened. But at the end of the day, you know, we were very glad that through government's intervention, we had a very amicable resolution. So in the next 3 months, we may get some new entrants into the market. But most definitely, as soon as the regulations have been gazetted, and at the end of the 3 months after that, every single bus in Fiji will need to have an e-ticketing machine. And every single machine needs to be able to speak to each other, irrespective of the brand or the back or front end providers. So, ladies and gentlemen, that in a nutshell is the outcome of the meeting today. And we of course believe it's a very good outcome for the consumers also, because for the next 3 months, as we said, they can still continue to use cash. And also we believe that by opening up the market, there will be increased competition and better services which will be passed on to the consumers.